Got it? There you go.
Yeah, my sister.
Alright. Really rinse it out. I'll let you do it when she's all done. She's almost done.
Yeah, you don't have any more.
And then you can hang it on the poles on it.
I know. She was at camp.
Is that 10?
That was. She
Yeah, I think so.
It's have a good time. We'll have to find some way of transporting it. Just memorize.
Oh.
I need to do plaster and beads and
Yes, fill us some of it.
I mean, to put this in here. I have worked in museums for 14 years and got a master's degree. It's pretty cool. And one of the big things when I was working in museums, the group that I hung out with were we were all into clothing heavily.
That's all one.
Strive to get as authentic with clothing.
Oh, yeah. Or at least talking. I don't know as I'm working very hard. But here we have the head set with the individual pedestals. On the table here we have coffee cups without handles because when Dad came in the winter and needed to warm his hands, he could wrap his hands around the cup and warm his fingers. Once his fingers could work, he could pour a little coffee into the saucer, put the bowl on it a bit, get it cool enough, and then proceed to drink his coffee from his saucer.
That's a book.
No?
That's a jar. A plate. Yep, that's a plate. That's a little, like,
1822.
We're having our own.
There's our first right there. Welcome to the land office.
Tell us what your title is.
Well, I've been referred to as the Surly Surveyor occasionally. I'm telling the story of the original land surveys and the original settlement of this area as people began to move into this area, legally at least, in 1845. Before settlers could come in, the federal government sent surveyors into this area, and the surveys were done using two rather simple devices. One, a surveyor's compass, as a way to determine north and south and east and west, and the other, a measuring device known as a surveyor's chain. A full surveyor's chain is 66 feet long. If you stretch out a 66-foot long chain 80 times, it measures a mile. So every single mile of survey line of the 250,000 miles that were surveyed in the state of Wisconsin between 1832 and 1866 was measured with a chain like this one. An incredible undertaking. What they were doing actually is dividing up the land here in Wisconsin into basically a graph, and that graph is made up of blocks of land called townships. Each township is 6 miles on a side. So once we got that 6 mile on a side township divided, Then we're going to divide it down further into what are called sections. And it'll be 36 1-mile square sections. As a matter of fact, this is the first map of this township that we're in right now. It was surveyed by a gentleman by the name of Theodore Conkey in July of 1845. And Conkey and his survey crew walked every one of these black lines to lay out these 1-mile square sections. And along the way, they were also noting roads and trails that they encountered, wetlands, areas of prairie, and noting places like fields where there are already settlers, what we'd actually call squatters, because they're here without having purchased the land. We've got the Baraboo River coming through here, and this thing labeled Copper Creek, and it's labeled Copper Creek because in the next township over, there was an area of copper mines, of people who were already in the area mining that copper. So once the surveys are completed, then the land becomes available for purchase. And it can be purchased, if you want to purchase it right from the government, you have to go down to Mineral Point, which is where the local land office was. And Mineral Point, you would plunk down $1.25 an acre to buy your 40-acre parcel of land. So for $50, you can buy 40 acres of land. And when you bought that land, you got a document known as a land patent. This is one of the patents that's in the collection here. It's an original land patent, in this case from 1858. It's for some land that's actually just over the line in Richland County. But it looks like it's on paper, but in fact it's on parchment. As a legal document at the time, they wanted it to be preserved, and parchment was considered a better preservation medium. So this is actually animal skin, sheepskin. And all land patents would list who the purchaser was and the legal description of that land based on the township range and section. And then had to be signed, dated and then signed by the President of the United States. In this case, it's being signed by James Buchanan. Actually, Buchanan didn't sign these himself. He had a secretary who did the work of signing land patents for him. So that's an original land patent. And what we also have is the federal government kept its office copy of each of those. And this is actually a photocopy of the original land patent for the very piece of land we're on right now. Based on the surveyor's parlance, we're on a piece of land which is known as the northwest quarter of Section 8 of Township 12 North, Range 5 East of the 4th Principal Meridian. And this is the document that transferred that piece of land to the first settler. In this case, it's kind of interesting because the settler used a land warrant. It was a document that a military veteran had gotten after the, what would that have been, the Mexican-American War. And the person who got that land warrant sold the warrant to the guy who actually bought this land, a guy by the name of George, I believe it's called Krause. And this is in 1851, signed with the name of Millard Fillmore. But then to make this official, we have to emboss onto it the official seal of the United States Government General Lands Office. So we take the metal seal, we wet it with a porcelain tongue, and we put that on the document. And then once it's on the document, we stick it into the press, and we emboss onto it the official seal of the United States Government General Lands Office. So if your name was George Krause, and it was 1851, and you'd just been down to the land office in Mineral Point, and you'd used your land warrant to cash in, then you would get that document, and that would mean that 160 acres would be yours. And you could take that to the county register of deeds and have it recorded, and you'd be in business.
You're going to be at the memorial? Yeah, he's picking me up at 3. I get to leave early so I can go home and shower before I go to the memorial.
beautiful 4th of July. This is a Reedsburg area summer community band. My name's Scott Brewer. I've been lucky enough to get in front of these fine musicians for the last couple of years. The first piece we played, if you weren't able to recognize it, was America the Beautiful, arranged by Carmen Dragon. And the next piece is going to be conducted by a gentleman in the group I respect very greatly. He fought for as long as I've been alive. I keep telling him that, but I'm exaggerating a little bit. Mr. Bob Spargo taught at Wisconsin Dells for quite a few years. And he and I worked pretty closely this past year, and he made note of the fact this is the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. And he mentioned a fantastic piece called Blue and Gray, which has tunes that were from the North and the South throughout the Civil War period. And he's going to be conducting that today. And enjoy Claire Grundman's Blue and Gray. Meredith Wilson is a composer of music in the musical The Music Man, and it's kind of apropos for America years past. This is a piece that is essentially 76 trombones, but has some other melodies that have kind of been blended into it by the arrangers. So 76 trombones, Meredith Wilson. going to do. We're going to have 4 members of the band that are also going to be assisting as vocalists. It's an arrangement of actually the Pledge of Allegiance done by Alfred Reed. If you'd like to join in, feel free. We'll go through it twice. Pledge of Allegiance, arranged by Alfred Reed. It's great what the Reedsburg Historical Society has done putting together today. We also have Sauk County Historical Society, which has many efforts throughout the year to remind us of our past. And also, very nearby, we have one of Wisconsin's historical sites with the Circus World Museum. The next march we're doing is actually entitled Circus Days. It brings us back to the years of past.